Bam! Oh yeah, there it is, boys and girls. Hello, and welcome to another fine edition of HTLA Radio 1 New York's Film 101. Yes, production defined. I am the host of the Film 101, of course, yours truly, Christopher Crash Jesus Taylor. And got a really good show for you today. Major announcements. Yes. And no, I know what you're all thinking. You're all like, oh yeah, I know what this is. I know what the announcement is there, Crash Buddy. Yes, I do. It's that 4K squeeze out of the Sony Cinealta F50 or F5. F55. Duh. Anybody can get 4K out of the 55, idiot. That's right. No, the F5. Yes, with no handy-dandy extra recorder needed, you can indeed achieve all of your 4K goodness on your sweet, sexy little Sony F5. And yes, we will get to that. I've got a whole section planned on that. There's all kinds of exciting things. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. It's so much fun. It's fast. It's easy. It's free. And the best part about it won't screw your warranty. Oh, no. No, we've checked into this. Yes, my producer Mark has gone and painstakingly checked with the legal department and checked with Sony themselves. And, well, it's just good news on that front. Just all the way around, it's just goody 4K numminess. Yes, and we'll get to it all. Mm-hmm. But first, we have other news. Yes, over to you, Sally. Yes. Well, Film 101, first of all, I should mention, is a fairly new show to HTLA Radio 1 New York. And they're combining my 20 years of film and television production experience crammed into 1 hour every week to help all you people out. All you creatives out there, you know who you are. Yes, you creative people. Yes, all you filmmakers. And some of you who don't think you need film school. Mm-hmm. You know who you are. Yes. Anyhow, show's doing pretty well, actually, and we've got some major hitters, major players heading this way very soon in the next few weeks that your eyes are going to pop out of your head and go, really? You got them? Yes, that's right. That's right. In fact, one of the ones that I'm very excited about because let's see, how do I put this? Well, if there can be man-on-man love, this is one of the men I would pick. Yes, I would definitely say that. You've probably heard of him, and if you haven't, wake the heck up. Shane Hurlbutt. Yes, Hurlbutt Visuals. ASC, the man, the legend. Yes, soon to be on HTLA's Film 101 here. And many other exciting guests, too. In fact, some that have even excited me. Yes, well, I mean, beyond the man love thing. But excited me to the point that, we're really taking it up a notch here, and I'm pretty excited about it, seeing as how the show's just started out and all. So, just kind of let you know how you kind of get around and get to know where the heck we are. HTLA Radio 1 New York currently is residing at the domain htla973.com. That's the old domain. We've been there for, almost 5 years now. Moving this week, actually, to HTLAradio1.com. Brand new site. It's very sexy. In fact, you can go there and see the parked page and check it out. It's pretty cool. Film 101 right now itself does have its own website with all of yours truly shows and all the little bits, and you can, get the Twitter feed there and everything else. Or you can just follow me on Twitter, quit being a lazy ass, at the Film 101. Just hit me up on Twitter there and follow along. And actually, while I'm mentioning Twitter and following along, I'd like to do some shout-outs and thank yous to some of my recent followers this week. First of all, Michelle Bisson, CSC, Canadian freelance DP from Toronto. 25 years production, and he is a big Sony F5 Cine Alta 4K camera owner and proponent, and lots of content he puts out. Great stuff, too. Really impressed with the work. I'd like to thank the Film Bay for following up with us. That's a big thank you. Darth Fader Recording. Yes, putting microphones in front of things and then making them sound cool since 2009. I love that. Absolutely love that. I guess I got to do this, too. Shout-outs and thank yous to Banana Man at Mannequin 2014. Good old Banana Man. A DP in video. Yes, in Filmity video. Thank you. Like to also, Shane Hurlbutt, ASC, of course, also a follower of the show on Twitter. Rycoat, actually, specialist manufacturer in microphone, windshields, and shock mounts. Yes, you know them well. Like to also mention Bright Tangerine. Also like to mention Hive Lighting, recent follower. Vinton, Paralinks. The list goes on here. It's insane. It's awesome. It's wonderful, and big thanks to all of you. Tim Keenan, of course. Industry Tape as well. Film Look. Jeez, I could go on for weeks. Rick McComber. Yes, McComber Productions, DP and producer of digital cinematic imagery. Boston Camera. At Boston_camera. Give him a follow. He's a really good guy, and he knows his stuff. Also, his partner in crime, Michael Sutton. MNS, 1974. Give him a follow, too. Also, a special thank you to 16x9 for not only following along with this show and HTLA and the Film Gear God and all the other things we're doing, but also a big thanks for coming on board with the new forums, the Atlantic Film Gear forums. They've come on and they're helping out. They're moderating and all that good stuff, too. There's a number of other companies, too, I'd like to thank for coming on to the forums and helping us out with them. MoveCam, Zacuto, Red Rock Micro, Red Camera, Panavision, Mole Richardson, Atomos, RE, Cook, Phil Light. You guys are all great. And we just got those forums up and underway and just getting them ready to take to the next level. And if you want to check them out, you should, because, man, we cover everything there. Screenwriting, talent, actors, actresses, studios, pre-production, production, post-production, cinema camera department with forums for all the major camera brands, camera support department for all the companies offering all kinds of camera support out there. Cinema recorders and workflow, timecode and sync, motion control, lighting department, sound department, grip and gaff department, edit and post department, pre and production software, and guilds, unions, and associations. So it's a really well-rounded resource, and like I said, they're just getting off the ground. Not too many people registering as of yet, but I expect that will change when the content builds. And the content happens to be building every day. Thank you very much. So, yeah, big shout-outs, kudos, thanks to everybody. And now we should kind of move along with the show. What do you say, huh? Yeah. All right, well, the first segment of the show, after our extended intro there, is basically on the, we cover the business of film and television production, as well as, the actual doing it and all that other stuff. So on the business side, there's been some interesting things happening in the industry in 2014 here that I'm sure most of you are aware of, but some of you may not be. And so I wanted to cover that and get a little more into, some of the aspects that are going on with that and how the industry is changing and fluctuating and why that is. I became aware of a pretty big chunk of news here about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And that was that in the first 2 quarters of 2014, New York State here has seen a incredible 32+% jump in most specifically television series production. And this report, I guess it was, that I read about this, was that, because California has kind of been petering out in recent years, past decade or so, with their film incentives. You know, it's kind of gotten to the point where production companies are just like, yeah, okay, bye. You know, the Hollywood party's over. It's kind of boring now. Let's move on to other stuff. So one heck of a lot of television series moved. They just left California, and guess where they went? That's right, New York State. So we've seen a huge jump there in these past 6 months, and that was kind of astonishing to me. But then I found out some little tidbits. The tidbits being that California is sitting there with a mere $100 million tax incentive program, and according to many sources I've talked to, it's very picky and hard to get qualified to even take advantage of the incentives. So, yeah, not really too much there in the awesomeness scale. However, then I went on to find out some other things. Did you know, and I bet you didn't, because I didn't, and I was staggered by this. I was stunned. Like, you know, my 20 years experience is all in Vancouver. So, you know, I was well-versed in all the West Coast stuff and how things worked in Vancouver. And, well, geez, it's Canada, so it's a different world. But, yeah, New York State, $400 million a year in government tax incentives. Isn't that sweet? That's pretty dang sweet. Yes, it is. So it kind of really was no surprise to me, given those kind of climate situations in the two states, why such a huge jump in the market segment moved to New York in this past 6 months. Now, getting into some other aspects of this, kind of interesting. You know, New York sees a 32+% increase in television series and feature work due to the state's $400 million annual tax break. Yes. California loses 30-plus television series to New York as a result. North Carolina, this is kind of interesting. Industry slated to die in this state as lawmakers cut their incentive program completely. And yes, you heard me right. Now, this is very strange, gang, because North Carolina is a pretty major player in terms of production that goes on outside Hollywood. Hunger Games ring a bell? Yeah, that was shot in North Carolina. As was, well, the list goes on. I could blow the whole show in probably 6 weeks of shows on listing off all the stuff that's been done in North Carolina. They're just getting out of it. They're done. And it's really strange. Government officials there don't seem to be the least bit interested in even talking about it. They're just done and doing away with their programs. Very strange. But news out of California today. That's right. Only, 8 hours ago. New proposal now has been approved in the California legislature to approve a $330 million tax incentive budget reform to regain all of their lost production. Now, does this mean that all the guys who just moved out here to do their stuff in New York are just going to pull up stakes and move back? Not likely. No, California's going to have to get a little more proactive, I think, in gaining back what they've lost. But I guess it's a start, and I guess it's good because the industry still is flourishing. And really, entertainment has always flourished. It's just like the alcohol industry. It doesn't suffer hard times. Because what do people do when they have hard times? They get alcohol and want to be entertained. So we're all in a pretty good industry here. We're pretty lucky in that regard because, just about every other industry has been, obliterated with the economic crash of 2008, and it's been tough for everybody, but production has just kind of carried on and continued pretty much on an average 8 to 11% growth overall in America. Hot damn, that's good, isn't it? I think that's good. So, kind of interesting. So, I really wanted to kind of bring this up and sort of, maybe get your guys' thoughts, Tweet me up there at the FiLM101 and let me know, what you're thinking. Because that's pretty huge. The heart of the industry is, loses a third. That's, kind of a what? But that is what has happened. Yes, it is. So, so there's that interesting little tidbit. So you might want to keep apprised and abreast of that if you're actually working in the industry and have noticed anything or talked to other people about, what's been going on. I've tried to offer you a little bit of a broader scope look at that tonight with this section to kind of enlighten you and to kind of give you sort of maybe missing pieces that you didn't have. So I hope I've done that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, production around the rest of the country is pretty much status quo. Not too much difference, anywhere else. The South is pretty quiet. It's, they're all just doing their thing. And same with the Northwest and all that good stuff. Now, yeah, okay. All right. Well, geez, my God, I've kind of finished off my segment a little early. So yeah, if you want to check out the Atlantic Film Gear Pro Boards, guys and girls, check out atlanticfilmgear.proboards.com. Like I say, it's just started up there. I got a lot of major players there that are helping out and helping build the community to something that hopefully filmmakers from every aspect of the industry can benefit from. But most specifically, I think the bulk of what they're shooting for here is to really give support to the independents. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Independence used to be kind of a dirty word around the unionized industry, Not just because they were non-union, but more or less because by and large, the general amount and quality of product was less than adequate. But in recent years, a lot of film festivals have taken on the cause of independence, as well as a lot of celebrities. Some A-list actors, of course, taking up projects that they either don't get paid very much or don't get paid at all to support the industry. So it's really kind of done a 180 in the last 10, 12 years to the point now where, you're getting in quite a lot of cases, you're getting better content in the independent markets than you are in the mainstream Hollywood markets. So I think also that's due in large part too to the innovations in digital cinematography and the technologies that are available to us now, like the Canon Cinema series. Shane swears by the Canon cameras, and I'm with him on that. I'm right there with him with that. And also Sony, Cine Alta and their camera line, the F3, the F5, the F55, 65. They're all amazing pieces of technology, and really when you look at the cost per value aspect of it, you're getting a huge bang for your buck, So we're going to go for a quick 2-minute break here, and when we come back, we are going to, I guess we're going to get into that whole F5 thing, because I know that you're all just chomping at the bit. Come on, how do we do this? Got my F5 right here, let's go. Well, get a notepad. We'll be right back.
I hate flying. The lines, the crowds, the delays.
I always kind of liked it. 6 hours, 1 seat, nobody can get to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard our non-stop service from New York to London.
You fly much?
All the time, actually. Someone on this flight is threatening to kill someone every 20 minutes unless $150 million is transferred to this account number.
We're midway across the Atlantic. How do you kill someone in a crowded plane and get away with it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I need every passenger to raise their hands above their head.
This is a bad idea.
Marshal, we have a right to know what the hell is
Agent Marks, the account number you gave us is in your name.
What? That doesn't make any sense. This is a setup. Something else is going on.
The FBI, the White House, and Interpol are confirming reports that an international flight has been hijacked by an air marshal.
Agent Marks, our fighter escort has you in their sights. Do you hear me?
We're running out of time. Do you hear me? I'm not hijacking this plane. I'm trying to save it. HTLA Radio 1.
All right. And we are back. Oh, we gonna rock on you, Electric Avenue. Yeah. That's right. You are listening to FiLM101 at HTLA Radio 1 New York. And it's a beautiful 78 degrees in Central Park right now. Yes, it is on this Thursday, August 28th, 2014. And we're talking, we're having fun, gang, aren't we? I'm having fun. So we've kind of covered in the first segment there about the interesting happenings around tax incentives in various states and huge fluctuations in production, moving literally from one coast to the other in our first segment there. And, it's an interesting little point here about North Carolina. I'm just going to get back to this for a minute here because this is kind of really staggering to me. Even as California looks to substantially boost funding for its film tax credit, North Carolina may be exiting the Hollywood stage altogether. North Carolina was among the first states to offer film tax credits. The state's incentives, low labor cost, and varied geography have made it a popular film location, drawing such major movies as The Hunger Games and the TV series Under the Dome. But last week, the state legislators opted not to renew the program, despite heavy lobbying by the local film industry to preserve the incentives. The state budget signed by Republican Governor Pat McCrory, reserved $10 million for a grant program for the first half of 2015. $10 million. That pales in comparison to $61 million in tax credits received by production companies last year under the same program. Companies were getting back 25 cents for every dollar they spent on qualified production expenses with a cap of $20 million per project. Opponents said the film industry should not be singled out for tax breaks and that taxpayer dollars could be used instead to lower taxes for small businesses. So, yeah, they're kind of going that way. It is very strange. But, who knows? I mean, next year they might just starve out and say, okay, we're sorry. This is screwed up. But anyway, enough of that, because I know you guys don't care. You're just like, dude, get on with the F5, for God's sake. Well, fine, I will. But before that, I'm going to do a little slap in the face to Video and Filmmaker magazine. Yes, I am. They're not very nice. No, they're not. And I'll tell you why. Oh, and by the way, latest news, the Ari Amira is now recording in 4K. Yes, that beautiful, expensive camera can do what the AJA Scion can for under 10 grand. But anyway, moving on. You didn't hear that from me. No. Moving on. Videoandfilmmaker.com. You evil people. You're not very nice. No, you're not. And the reason I'm saying this is because they kind of really dicked down Paul Ream from ExtraShot. Paul Ream from extrashot.co.uk, by the way, is the man who came up with this great workaround to make the F5 shoot in 4K. And they're not nice to him at all. They're not. And yeah, they even insinuate, and I'm not kidding here, they insinuate that Paul and the folks at extrashot.co.uk are just using this as a free publicity stunt to gain more listeners to their newly started podcasts. That's pretty low blow, I think. They go on to further insinuate that these guys are kind of committing fraud. Yeah, well, let me just read this section here, and I'll show you what I mean. This is currently on videoandfilmmaker.com. The Sony F5 4K hack, they're calling it, which I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen of the listenership, this is not a hack. It's not, and you're going to see by the time this show's over that, wow, these guys are real dicks, and we owe Paul a beer, at the very least. Anywho, they say that Paul Ream from ExtraShot has claimed he's managed to hack his F5 to record in 4K. Ream says he and his fellow podcaster Steve Adams came up with the hack after drinking a lot of cold coffee. However, Ream and Adams aren't letting on as to how they've hacked the F5 as yet. They're making sure that they've built up enough momentum and a whole swag of new listeners and subscribers for their ExtraShot podcast. The crew have promised the big reveal in their next podcast, which will come out right before IBC next month. We can't imagine Sony are going to be super happy about the hack, as one or more of the examples, F55's major selling points is its 4K internal recording in XAVC, along with its global shutter. Although it may sell more F5 cameras for the company, but if the hack, even if it is a hack, is easily doable, the F55 could very well drop in sales. Well, videoandfilmmaker.com, you're not a Sony shareholder, are you? The heck do you care? And to kind of go one further, what do you got the word hack in the title of this post when it hasn't even been released to you yet what this is? I mean, this is another case of media just insinuating themselves and coming up to their own conclusions and comments and opinions about something they don't know anything about. Sound familiar? Yeah. I'll continue on here because they get to something else that really kind of ticks me off and I don't think is fair at all, so I'm going to make sure that I voice that here tonight for you. In the meantime, here's a pic of ExtraShot's F5 side panel showing the recording dimensions, and in the picture, you can plainly see 4096 by 2160 as for the resolution in standby mode. Get this. They say this. Man, I'd be calling my lawyer. They say, now it's entirely possible the above image has been mocked up in Photoshop, and this is a complete hoax for a bit of free publicity. Okay, so now you're saying that Paul is trying to defraud all of us F5 owners out here with his hack. What? No, you didn't just say that. Yeah. Or the pair have actually managed to hack their F5. Either way, it's exciting to say the least, and we'll definitely be listening to the next podcast to see how they managed it. And then here's a video Reams took on the hacked F5, he says. Obviously, video streams at HD Max, so you have to download the original file, 4096 by 2160, to see the 4K in all its glory. Well, they say, in saying that, he hasn't provided the original for download so we can see if it's actually 4K or not. Yeah, okay, videoandfilmmaker.com. How many 4K monitors do you have sitting in your little rag office? Huh? Because, I see this time and time again, and this bugs the hell out of me. I even see people who are going out with their own blogs and doing reviews for companies and everything else, saying that, this looks great in 4K. What really gets me is the Panasonic GH4 people. that go and they shoot 4K with their Panasonic DSLR, and they're like, oh, here's a comparison, 4K and 4K, and I'll throw it on YouTube or Vimeo or something else that's maximum is HD, and that everybody's looking at it on their frickin' computers that they're browsing the web with. Who's got a 4K monitor? Huh? Come on. Yeah, see how silly it is? Right. Anyway, they finish off by saying that he hasn't provided the original for download so we can see if it's actually 4K or not. You can, however, download the Vimeo file. Whether they uploaded that in 4K or not is beside the point, as Vimeo converts all uploaded footage to its own specific requirements. Still, it's worth watching, but we'll take it with a grain of salt until they tell us how they've managed the hack and it's been repeated by other filmmakers. Well, got news for you, videoandfilmmaker.com. I do have an F5, and I did it earlier today. Thank you very much. And while I don't have a 4K monitor in my studio because I'm not Steven Spielberg or anybody close to being able to afford one of those right now, I can tell you that the camera does actually register 4K, and it registers everything that these lovely gentlemen in the UK say it does. And I personally am going to send them a number of pots of cold coffee in thanks for this great thing. But yeah, smack in the pee-pee to videoandfilmmaker.com, guys. I would tone down the opinions and stick more with what you know. That's what I would say. Okay. Now that that's off my chest, I feel much better. Now, let's talk about these guys at ExtraShot, shall we? You can hop along with your browsers as you listen to me, extrashot.co.uk. Now, Paul Ream and Steve Adams have been working in the UK for over 20 years, making programs, television, film, you name it, commercials. You know, these guys aren't idiots. Hello? You know, it's like saying Philip Bloom is a retard. Yeah, well, you know what? If any of you out there think Philip Bloom is a retard, I dare you to go to Digital Rev and check out, yes, check this out because it is awesome. Or even, heck, go to YouTube. Type in Barbie Camera Challenge. Yes, those fine folks at Digital Rev in Hong Kong, they challenged Philip to shoot a short film on the absolute cheapest, crappiest camera they could find. And trust me, in Hong Kong, there's a lot of cheap, crappy cameras. They found this Barbie doll, and she had a little lens in her belly button or whatever, and this guy went and shot a short film with it that I was extremely impressed with, and yeah, it just goes to show it doesn't matter about the gear, gang. If you've got the talent for storytelling and the creativity to work with what you have, man, you can do some great stuff. And Philip proved that and has my undying respect forever, and so do these guys at ExtraShot. So Paul, Steve, I love you guys. Yes, even Steve with his shoes. And when you go to their site and check out their latest podcast there, you'll see about the shoes, and I think they're awesome. I want a pair. So who are they? That's who they are. They're professionals, and they've been doing this for over 20 years. They probably know even more than me. Oh my God, did I just say that? Yes, I did. They know more than me. All right, so they say on their site, after nights of cold coffee, we finally found what we were looking for, internal 4K on the SONY F5. We all knew it was there waiting. We just needed that flash of inspiration that comes with, cold coffee. The great news is we'd like everyone to try it out. All you have to do is listen to the next episode of the ExtraShot podcast, and we'll tell you exactly how we did it. Well, they did. And they did. Not only did they tell you how they did it, and it's sitting on their site ready for your consumption, they actually have a page, how we did it, and they go point by point, all of the steps, which I have for you here. So, if you don't want to write it down, you don't have to. Just listen to this program over again and follow along with me. And it's awesome. 4K at 23.98. 4K at 24 frames per second, 4K at 25 frames per second, 4K at 29.97 per second, 4K at 50 frames per second. Did you hear me? Sony F5 Cine Alta. Right there, 4K at 60 frames per second. There we go. QFHD at 23.98, 24, 25, 29.97, 50, and 59.94. Yes. Is that not sexy? Like, just think about that. Think about that. You look at the specs of the F5, and they're no slouch. And actually, to be honest, when you really get into it, you know, the camera is essentially the same as the 55. Same sensors, mostly the same chips and processors. There's just this thing. And you know, I think the reason Video and Filmmaker were so hard on these poor guys was because they think, oh, well, you know, they had to have opened up the camera. Yeah. They must have opened up. That is going to void the warranty. That's bullshit. Can't do that. Or, my favorite, yes, all the speculation that I read about, oh, well, they're screwing with the firmware, and that's just going to void the warranty, and blah, 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 blah. No, I'm going to say it right now. Paul Ream, you are brilliant. You are absolutely brilliant, because what this man has done is he's not only found, and I'm not going to call it a hack because that's pretty crappy and not very accurate. I'm going to call it a workaround. Because once I go through and tell you exactly how to do this, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's so easy. Are you serious? Oh my God. Yeah, because no, you don't open the camera. You don't access any. You don't even have to take the battery off. No, you can change your lens out if you want, but it won't matter. No, it has nothing to do with the camera, and it has nothing to do with the firmware. And now you're sitting there completely stumped. I know you are, because I was. I was like, are you kidding? Okay, so you're not opening it up, you're not doing any soldering, you're not doing any hard welding, you're not, how are you possibly achieving this? Gotta be firmware. Oh, so you're not hacking the firmware, so it's not a hack. You're not touching the firmware. What the heck could you possibly be doing? Well, I'll give you a hint. If you check out the many, and I mean there's many, but most by Able Cine and B&H and Adorama Camera, all those guys. Sometimes you get gens from Zacuto or some other folks from some other camera support companies going on with some of them too. And I'm talking about videos to do with the F5 and the F55. And, you know, all of these people, you know, are awesome, and they put out great content, and we love them to death. And they have really done a good job of putting out all the specs and what these cameras do and how they work and how your workflow will happen and all this good stuff, and it's all great. And thank you all for that. That's incredible stuff. And I'm sure all of the non-professionals, indies out there, are just thanking you and worshiping you, because you deserve to be thanked and worshipped. But it's something so simple. It's something so simple. It's the profiles, the shooting profiles that you have in the little SD card that you save. Yeah. I'll be back in 2 minutes and give you the whole rundown. Be right back.
Lifts to clear obstacles. Lowers to cut drag. Rises to every challenge. The class-exclusive air suspension in the new 2013 Ram 1500. Engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram.
What can I get you all today? Sea salt and vinegar, smart pop butter?
I'll take caramel with a side of white cheddar.
And for you, sweetie?
The special?
Lime and salt it is.
You guys ever get tired of just eating popcorn? Because I know I never would.
Discover all 18 flavors of Orville Redenbacher's gourmet popcorn. Simply made, passionately created.
Have I got a treat for you? New clean whipped cream foundation from CoverGirl. A delicious new recipe whipped up by Clean Makeup. They took their clean, fresh foundation, added a dash of hydration, then whipped it to smooth, matte perfection. Finally, a non-drying whip that wears like a dream. What a treat from Clean. New clean whipped cream from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause, live for the way that you chill and scream for me. The applause, applause, applause. Give me the feeling of love. Won't you feel it, make a turn, turn. Give me the feeling of love.
Just Dance 2014. Stay in, go all out.
HTLA Radio 1.
Well, are you ready? I know you are, because I know I am. Oh, yeah. Yes, in the previous segment, we were talking about the fine folks, those fine folks at extrashot.co.uk, Paul Ream and his lovely co-host partner, Steve. Yeah, the F5 4K workaround. All right, work with me. Get your pens and pencils ready, gang. Now, getting back to the Adorama folks and the B&H folks and all the folks that give us those lovely how-to videos and workflow videos and whatnot through YouTube, you've probably seen them all, talking about the profile settings, the save settings, the various, 2K and HD settings with the F5 and all the way up to the 4K settings that you can save for your camera in the F55. Now, the actual, I guess, workaround happens to do with the files that are, on the SD card. The SD card, the camera actually formats the SD card to have a directory structure on it, starting off with the private folder, then into the Sony folder, then down into the Pro folder, then down into the camera folder, and then down into the PMW F5 directory. And then in there, you're going to see a bunch of .all files. Not DLL files. No, these are ALL files. And these are all your different profiles. So, with your profiles, you can edit those with a plain text editor in either Mac or Windows. They're designed that way. They're just little text files, and they're, to load your specific custom profiles. Which, by the way, Sony has set up so you can do. So you're only doing what the company says you can already do by doing this. Thank you. So what you do is you go in down through that directory structure, private, Sony, Pro, Camera, PMW F5, and in that directory you will find 001.all, 002.all, etc., etc. Now, what you want to do is you want to open up that 001.all file, okay? You want to delete the entire first line. What it actually is a 32-digit checksum, okay? So delete that first line. Take it right out. You don't want it there. No. Then you want to scroll all the way down to line 150, and that line is the magic golden key. Yes, it is. That line is the one that's going to dictate what that camera profile will do for you. And in your text editor, you will just enter the information, which is actually extrashot.co.uk/how-we-did-it. And in there, they've listed the new examples of line 150s for your desired result. So, for example, if you want 4K at 23.98 frames per second, you would enter 150, being the line number, equals 4096, 2160, There's your resolution. Comma 1001, comma 24,000, comma 1, comma 1, comma 0, comma 8, comma 0, comma 0, comma 0, comma 1, comma 1, comma 1, comma 6. That is the line you replace 150 with in that file. Okay? So you go ahead and you do that, because you just want to test this. You don't want to blow up your world, do you? No. But relax. It's just a text file, gang. Okay, so you've got your 2K file XAVC saved to 001.all on the SD card. You open it up on your computer. You find 001.all, the 2K that you just saved, and it's the simple text file. It's easy to edit. Important. Keep as a plain text file. Do not change the file format. Don't convert it. Don't do anything. Keep it as a plain text file that it is. Go down to that line 150, change it to whatever of those settings you are looking for your camera, for that particular profile. It'll set the resolution and frame rate. Replace with the F55 figures into line 150. The QFHD 4096 2160 example. What I just said there. Now, there's also something important here. Caution. Yes, caution. And not caution that it's going to blow up your camera or void your warranty either, gang. It's caution that it's just going to screw the file and it's not going to work. And you want it to work because you want 4K out of your F55 or F5, damn it. The checksum line 1 is actually a 32-digit checksum. It must stay the same. Okay? And it won't when you change line 150. So, the workaround, thank you, for that is that what you need to do is it's just ND5 security, which is a simple decode security once all the changes are made to generate the checksum. So to generate a new checksum, you take the first line out. Line 1, it's gone. You took it out. Now, open terminal on your Mac. Go to the directory where the MD5001.all file is. Type in MD500 space 001.all, hit return, and it will tell you the new text checksum, and all you do is copy that and paste that into your line 1 on the file. Once you've done that and generated that checksum and pasted it to the file, you save that. Save it as that text file, close it up, put that back onto your SD card, and load it up in your camera. You're good to go. That's it. It's no hack. Doesn't screw your camera. Doesn't screw the firmware. Nope. Just profiles, gang. That's all it is. And let me tell you, I've gone through the all of the 4K ones here. From 23.98 frame rates up to the 59.94. Works like a charm. I have not tried out the QFHDs today. I did not have the time for that. But there you have it. Now, for Windows users, Windows users, I have your save. Yes, I do. Now, basically, because you can't really screw with checksums in Windows, there's some other programs you can get. There's some freeware out there. There's also some online editors where you can just basically, generate your checksum online and paste it in. Yeah. But I would recommend a little program I found called WinMD5 Free at winmd5free.com. It's a great little program, runs independent, and you bring it up and load her up, and boom, it gives you your little code. You file that off, paste it into line 1, close it up, save it as text. Bob's your uncle. Done like dinner. And that's it. That's all there is to it. It is as simple as that. So now you got to ask yourself, was that really worthy of all the fraud claims? Was it? No. No, I don't think so. And was it worthy of such harsh words from those fine video and filmmaker people? No, I don't think it was either. No. These are some guys who've got some brains in their heads and actually put them together and worked the issue. And what they came up with is, well, I'm going to say nothing short of genius. And to kind of further top that off, gang, I'm going to add in here that these guys even included the files they're talking about. You know, that's some upfront and honesty right there. You know, here's at the bottom of that page, the how to edit page that I gave you, extrashot.co.uk/howwedidit. You go there, and at the bottom of the page, they've included a link, a nice little WinZipped link to all the files, all their profile files that they use to do this. They've included it for you. Isn't that cool? I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So there it is. So, yeah. And, you know, the 4K works. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to go through the QFHD stuff yet, but I will. Yeah, there's always tomorrow. But it's pretty exciting. Now, how do I feel about it from a Sony standpoint? I don't know. You know, Sony hasn't done anything for me lately. They don't pay me to love their cameras online, which I do. I gotta say, I was asked actually about a month ago, out of all the cameras out there right now, you know, which is the kind of absolute bar none go-to, all-purpose, you know, everything you want in a prescription, or everything you want in the, yeah, you know what I mean. And what camera would that be? And I chose the F55. I did. And also very impressed with the Sony Cine Alta lenses. The 6-pack lens kit that comes with. Well, it doesn't come with. No, that's an extra 20 grand. Thank you very much. But it's built for the 5, 55, 65. You could if you wanted to cheap it. If you're rolling a 65, you know, you're already 100 grand in, so you might as well go with some nice Cooks or Schneider. Yeah, Schneider. Anyway, you know, how do I feel about it? Well, I guess if I was a Sony shareholder, I don't even think I'd care then, because like even video and filmmaker.com say, it could result in a boom of F5 sales. And what's wrong with that? There's only an $8,000 difference between the 5 and the 55 in the first place. Okay, so what's the big deal? Well, geez, you know, looking at this quarter, we've lost 30 or 40% sales on the F55. Yes, but the F5 has jumped 100%. Do the math. The company's still winning. I don't know. Don't get it. Don't know why everybody would be so concerned about Sony's bottom line. Seems a little strange to me. But maybe they get paid by Sony. I don't know. I'm just a film gear god, man. What do I know? I'm just about the gear. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't see a downside to this. There's certainly no downside to your camera. There's no downside to warranty. There's no downside to Sony. So I say, hell yeah. Let's load them up. Let's get them out there. Let's rock. So there it is. Yeah. There it is. And so that is it. That's literally it. There's nothing else. Except there is kind of a little thing that I want to throw in, a little technical thing that I did notice today, because I kind of screwed up. Yes, I did. It happens. It happens to me too. I actually made the mistake. Yes, you heard me. Mistake. And no, my camera didn't blow up. When I was in the first mode, when I changed it to 4K at 23.98. Okay, and I loaded that up, and I everything came up, and I was like, oh my God, yeah. And I started shooting, and it was good, and everything's good. Yeah, I kind of went into the menu of the camera and kind of made a few profile adjustments on the fly in the camera menu. Yeah, don't do that. Nope. No, if you obviously if you're working on a project, it's going to be just, one thing. It's going to be 24 FPS, or it's going to be 30, or it's going to be 60, or it's going to, unless you're shooting high speed, you're not going to really vary your frame rate in a production. But I kind of went and changed the frame rate while I was doing this, and it all went wonky and wouldn't read the profile anymore, and it was kind of screwed up. Wow. Got the fix for that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You need to, if you change settings in camera, it will overwrite your profile and screw everything up and send you back to HD 2K land. You'd be like, this doesn't work, it's crap. But it does. Just don't change any camera settings in your profile once you're loaded up and going. So what I would recommend is just, make a bunch of these profile files and have them kicking around on your hard drive, and when you're going to go to do something, pick the one that you want and load it up and just stay locked with the same profile settings. But other than that, you're good to go. There's not an issue here at all. I am using the S/S Plus P cards. I don't know, to be honest here, right? The film gear god's going to be honest. I don't know if the just regular S/S cards will do that. I don't know. Thinking about the specs around the bit rate and whatnot, it's kind of a crapshoot. But I would definitely recommend the Plus P cards anyway. They're just awesome. So that's the only other thing to keep in mind. But yeah, just don't screw with your profile settings while you're shooting, and Bob's your uncle. You're having a good day. Yeah, and isn't that nice for a change? I thought so too. So that's pretty much all I had for you today on the show, and we were just about out of time. Again, like to thank, definitely huge shout out and kudos and thank yous to both Paul and Steve at extrashot.co.uk. For finding this, and actually all to Paul, because Steve was out, living the high life all over the world, and Paul was, in the little hovel, drinking his cold coffee and working the problem and making this all happen for us. So Paul, thank you very much. Yes. So that's pretty much it for me tonight, guys. I'd like to thank HTLA for giving me this opportunity, and in the coming weeks here, we're going to have Shane Hurlbut, ASC, on for an interview, and it's going to rock. So we'll catch you all next time.